Welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi Matsuribayashi. Second time. The first time I was confused. I was like, wait. Because I had got a notification, I was looked at it, I was like, wait, does the window change with it? Apparently not, but let's do this again anyway. It was only 15 seconds intro. So it's been 1 day short of a week since I last recorded for this. And honestly, I think it's a bit early to be recording. But here I am anyway. It's early. It's been 2 weeks. No, I mean time-wise. It's still fairly early in the morning right now, you know. But I was just uploaded the previous part. How long ago? An hour or two, I think. And I'm you know what, it's, because on my main channel currently I haven't got around to another LP, so it's just Rune Factory Oceans on that, and I have to record so more often with that, so it's a pain in the ass with the scheduling. So I was might as well get this record session out of the way, because, I mean, think about that. It's been 1 day short of 2 weeks since I last recorded for this LP. That's how much just those 3 parts in that one record session. Just I could take a break from recording for this for 2 whole weeks. Meanwhile, main channel is oh shit, I gotta upload. Well, record every couple of days or so, because it ends up being oh shit, just 2-part record sessions. And because it's the only LP going on, it'd be Rune Factory, next day, nothing, next day Rune Factory, and that's that. Just within those 3 days. So basically, in a way, it's kind of this channel has the upload where it's one upload every 4 days. With the Rune Factory Oceans, it would be, a record session every 4 days would be needed. So that's kind of chaotic compared, So might as well get this out of the way now, I suppose, while I still got 2 parts recorded in advance for Rune Factory Oceans at the moment. So, where did I leave off? Yeah, this, right? Wasn't there something about a park, though? I because I just, uploaded the previous part, kind of, on my mind, I said, oh, let's look at that, but let's look at this first, and then it was well, it's a 2-hour record session, so save it for next time. Maybe, British North Shinto British. Well, that one's clearly available because it's highlighted. Fuck it. When researching Hinamizawa syndrome, there is something very important that needs to be discussed first. If something happens to the Queen Carrier, the village will collapse. In his article, my grandfather called it the most dangerous situation. According to my grandfather, if the Queen Carrier dies, all the infected persons will go terminal within 48 hours. This may sound unbelievable at first, but research on the collapse of past local religions and group suicides around the world should indicate that there's some truth to it. Among all the mysterious incidents around the world, there are some that were caused by parasites controlling entire communities, very similar to Hinamizawa syndrome. Grandfather picked a few cases that are very similar to the syndrome and investigated them. As a result, he confirmed multiple cases of entire communities losing their minds after the death of a religious leader or founder, and finally annihilating themselves. He stated that, on average, it happened within 48 hours. It's clear that infected people are affected by the Queen Carrier, and the condition of the Queen Carrier is, in fact, affecting the entire village. Last disasters already proved that on weeks Rika felt sick and visited the clinic, we saw an exceptionally high number of visitors. Rika being sick with a simple cold had a massive impact. If something particularly bad happened to her, we'd be facing a serious situation within 48 hours. That's why the Oryou Institute has to protect Rika Ferrelli, the Queen Carrier. It's the most important mission of the Hinamizawa Syndrome Research Project. She's already agreed to help us in our research, but we have to be very careful not to put her in any danger. Also, we have to protect her from anyone who would try to harm her. Her life is equal to the lives of 2,000 villagers. But what if something happens to her by accident? The Oryou Institute must prepare for that situation. Sure. It's just like the way Takano's notes are here. It's like, yeah, sure, Takano. It's like we saw what happened at the end with Prius and we know what's going on now. It's like, what's going on now? Why, you didn't see that arc? It's like, that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to spoil it, even though it's kind of been spoiled already. Because this is the final answer arc. This is pretty much just putting everything together that's already been put together. Now we're just trying to put it in an order somehow where things will work out. But we haven't even gone through all the pieces yet to even get to that point. That's why I worked on the draft of an emergency manual when the Oryou Institute was first established. That was a requirement for one of the other fragments to be unlocked. Was the emergency manual. It's a precaution in case the Queen Carrier dies, or if infected people show acute symptoms due to the death of the Queen Carrier. It's an emergency procedure which must be followed within 48 hours of the mass occurrence of the acute symptoms. The final measure is to prevent the damage from spreading to nearby areas. The plan uses gas, making it look like a natural disaster. My client, the Alphabet Project, took the responsibility of working out the details of the plan. They are used to dealing with things like nuclear and biological weapons, so they end up being such a big help. There's no way I could have come up with a plan on my own to execute 2,000 villagers. Though a dummy company, the ground SDF has secured a closed quarry in the Keiichi region upstream of Hinamizawa. I was wondering, it's like, this fragment so far, it's like, what the fuck does this car do with a quarry then? It's finally coming up. It's to be the secret storage base for the equipment we'd use in that operation. Interesting. Equipment that sprays deadly gas that kills people as if they were falling asleep is stored here, in the case of an emergency. A special unit of the ground SDF is to use this equipment to destroy the village. However, preparing for the execution of the villagers itself is politically dangerous. So if I'm going to insist on them getting the equipment ready, I have to make them understand how dangerous Hinamizawa Syndrome is, and also how urgent the need is to have a contingency. I know the pronunciation of the word, I just can't pronounce it properly. Contingency plan. Then you hate that. It's like you know a pronunciation of a word, you can hear it clear in your head, but you try to pronounce it like contingency. Fuck. God damn it. I have to prove the need for the plan by showing them enough data. So the files my grandfather kept intact came in quite handy. When the clients read my grandfather's articles about the syndrome, they were surprised to see how catastrophic things could be in the worst case scenario. In other words, if something happens to this girl, the Queen Carrier, all 2,000 of the villagers will become deranged. Is that what you're saying? Yes, there have been several cases similar to Hinamizawa Syndrome where group suicides took place. In the case of the syndrome, we can easily expect extreme defensive behavior which results from deep paranoia. The result may affect all 2,000 plus carriers. From there on, we may face abnormal situations involving lawless violence and bizarre religious despondence. We must be ready to face such a situation by having a contingency plan. Otherwise, we'll draw attention from the rest of the world. We have to remember that we only have 48 hours to respond once it happens. Are you saying that if it happens, there's nothing anyone can do? Can't you treat everyone within 48 hours? That'll be impossible. We don't have a cure. I mean, they don't have, a cure that cures it all, but Erie's medicine's working quite well. They just need, they need 2,000. They'd need a lot of those. It'd be kind of very difficult to pull off either way, really, but there is sort of treatment for it. And the researcher isn't capable of taking in all the villagers. Exactly. They could manage to an extent. Frightening to realize such a disease actually exists. The world is full of mysteries. Maybe that's Takano. Constant vigilance against worst-case scenarios supports our national defense, and is one of the ideas behind the Alphabet Project. Besides, our goal is not to use the plan, but it's vital to be prepared. Unless it's one of them talking, I guess. Indeed, precisely as you say. I'd still like to look into strengthening the rules of approval authority behind applying the plan, but I understand the necessity to prepare our response for a worst-case scenario. This is the problem with freaking scenes where everyone that's talking, none of them have a freaking character portrait on screen, so you can't tell who the bloody hell's talking. Okay, so it's one of them. Let's have the urban suppression research team run a simulation of the Hinamizawa suppression operation in the region. I think we should get it going as soon as possible. It's possible that the Queen Carrier girl may be hit by a car and be killed at any moment. Thank you, Major Takano. We have further questions, so you can sit down. Thanks to a push from one of my backers, things were decided without too much of a problem. Took me almost all day to explain to them, but it only took a short time to come to a decision. Nobody criticized, ridiculed, or tried to reject my grandfather's article out of hand. In the files they're all reading today are the very same shameful articles those haughty authorities left their footprints on as they trampled them and my grandfather's heart. But they aren't ridiculing the articles. They are reading what was once rejected. It's nothing big at a glance, but in this moment my grandfather's research is being recognized for the first time. My heart is filled with satisfaction to see people discussing amongst each other while pointing to my grandfather's files and raising them as proof. I've worked so hard for this day. Grandpa in heaven, can you see this? She's like, yeah, they recognize that, but, you know, if you've been paying any attention, Takano takes it way too far. So that was that. So, where is it? Let's go, see how depressed Rika's dad is then, I guess. The gathering place inside of the Fruita Shrine is in fact the headquarters of the Onagafuchi Guardians. Normally a shrine should be a calm and quiet place, but the bird chirps on, and the cicadas, the Higurashi, perhaps. What's the difference? Higurashi, cicadas, are they the same thing, or the difference? I don't know. I'm not even sure if we even have those in this country. I don't think so. Maybe one type of species somewhere, I don't know. It's like, I remember years ago, it's a totally different thing, but crickets, they're noisy bastards, aren't they? And my brother years ago had a lizard, right? Well, he had a few lizards, really. And he got crickets to feed them and all that, and this one cricket, it escaped or something, and every night it would make that noise. I don't know where the hell it got to. It was outside somewhere, I think. Or maybe it was inside, I can't remember. But it would always make a racket during the night. It was such a noisy little bastard. Anyways, normally a shrine would be a calm and quiet place, but there are anti-dam signs everywhere, making it very obvious that what this location has become. Okay, we can kind of get an idea of where the priest depression is going to come into play here, because as we have learned over the course of this series, he's not exactly, he wasn't as assertive about it as the people of the village wanted him to be. They were all like, grow a spine! There are over 30 members of the Guardians here at the moment, and they are having a heated conversation about their plans for the future. The first meeting place is on the Furede family's property. It's a community facility, so it closes at 9 p.m. Of course, sometimes the discussion gets so heated that it goes on past closing time, but meetings are supposed to end by 9. The discussion ends early. They usually chit-chat until that time. That's what usually happens. Of course, they mostly talk about a dam even when they chit-chat. They talk about someone's mistreatment at the government office, or someone getting arrested unjustly, or complain that people at a dam construction site are too violent. Since his idle chatter, the topics are slightly emotional, and because of that, there was a good deal of badmouth and the Houjous. It's weird, isn't it? The weird pacing so far of these fragments, because they're not all in the same order. It's like one moment, it's like takes place after the dam incident, and then the next thing you know, it's back before, like, the death of the foreman. It's weird. And she threw the circulation notes away. Can you believe that? That woman is crazy. Just the other day she got a huge argument with making her son's grandmother at the trash pickup. The husband is rude too. He's so irrational. Did you see him at the explanatory meeting? That was bad, I can't believe they're still here. I wish they'd just leave. He said something about money. He has absolutely no shame. Don't raise your voices now. It's still too early in the morning. No. If you talk about being irrational, his wife is the same or even worse. Must be hereditary. I see that daughter shopping quite often, so I used to say hello to her, but she never replied. Can you believe that? So I got tired of it, and I don't say anything to her anymore. Hey, their son always looks so depressed, doesn't he? Depression's funny. No, it's not. By now, the Houjou family has become the enemy of the whole village. Badmouth and the Houjou family was the greatest shared topic that anyone could easily contribute to. If he had known how powerful the three families were, especially the Sorozaki family, and if he had known Oryou-san's character, he wouldn't have said the things he did. The Houjou couple are residents here. Though they were never very enthusiastic about the council activities, they should have known what kind of person Oryou-san is. He could have imagined just what would happen to him if he talked to her that way. Yet he let his anger take over and voiced his unpleasant feelings. So most people think the Houjou family brought their isolation upon themselves. If they wanted to negotiate with the government regarding the move, they should have done so privately. Yet he was foolish enough to express himself at a public gathering like that. So not too many sympathize with the Houjou family. Ever since the big fight at the explanatory meeting, the Sorozaki family has looked at the Houjou family as their enemy and started to go after them. That caused the other pro-dam families to go quiet, fearing they'd be made into scapegoats too, and those who wanted to leave were bitterly forced to give up. Even those people started criticizing the Houjou family, saying that they could have gotten their compensation to leave if the two hadn't picked that reckless fight. Both the anti-dam and pro-dam people hate the Houjous now, and the family has become even more isolated. Moreover, the Houjous are both very aggressive. They should have stayed quiet at least until things settled down, but they didn't. That alienated the handful of people who took pity on them as well, so now nobody even says anything to them. Although all of that was immediately obvious by listening to the foul talk here and there at the gathering place. Rika always helps out by putting the teacups away, so I'm sure she hears what they say as well. One of the Houjou family members there bad-mouthing is Rika's friend, Sadako-chan. Let's think about what Rika feels while hearing that. As priest of the Furedi Shrine, should I let this continue? Hoyoshiro-sama is the god who makes peace between enemies. When humans and demons fought, Hoyoshiro-sama descended from heaven and meditated between both sides. As the caretaker of the shrine, I must do something before it goes too far. I'm sitting next to Oryou-san, who is spitefully disparaging the Houjou family. So that's what's talking shit to me. Who the hell cares? He'll be cursed by Oryou-sama, that's for sure. Yeah, let people cheer her on as they listen to her speak. If I barge in now, I have a feeling it won't be a peaceful conversation. But I have to make up my mind. As the priest of the Furedi Shrine, also for the sake of Rika's friend, Sadako-chan. Oryou-san, don't you think you've said enough by now? Ha! What the hell are you trying to tell me? Well, I'm sure Houjou-san really didn't mean what he said. Isn't it a bit much for this kind of treatment to go on for so long? Shut up! You heard what he said, didn't you? When you pissed, he pissed me off. Shit. Did you really say shit? I mean, I feel like we've been over this before. Where it's been like, okay, the English translation says shit. What does it actually say in Japanese? Okay, I'm getting it's like I'm reading it but don't understand it. Well, that's kind of the thing, really, isn't it? I can read it, can't understand it though. That's like, I think that's ah, and then it's like sha. That's kind of weird because it's like that's like sha, and then you got ah, so that must extend it. So it's like sha ra shai sha ra shai, something like that. Could it be in the dictionary? I doubt it. I'll give it a look though. Let's see. Man, there's a lot of sha and shu and what was the other one? I forget. There's a lot of those words that you use, like the lower version of that with she in this dictionary here. So cha. Oh wait, no, that's ja. Okay, I was like, oh, I found it. No, it's man, that's a pain in the ass then. It's only no sha there, no. It's only ja instead of sha. So it's not the same thing. It's like, I don't think she's saying goodbye. Yeah, I have no idea what it could be because of that. Oh well. Wasn't really expecting to find a correct, like, full-on word. Would that even count as a thing? Word for word translation there? Either way it goes, she's pissed off. And I don't think you're gonna have something like that in the dictionary. It's like, oh, what does pissed off, sound like in Japanese? Oryou-san is the head of the Solideki family. Their heir to the demons. She never forgives anyone who stands against her. So there's no way she would ever listen to what I'm trying to say. It's kind of ironic for him to say that, because it was Minagoroshi, wasn't it? It's hard to believe, because that had like a weird pace when you think about it. There was all that stuff with Satoko, and then after that was resolved, it's like, okay, now it's like, can Rika, change the ultimate wall that's blocking her from, getting past the summer and, this horrible cycle of repeating deaths. So I had that odd pace. Why am I bringing that up again here? Oh yeah, because in that arc, Keiichi stood up to her and she was like impressed. She's like, oh, that kid has some balls, man. Just like, hopefully one of my granddaughters will marry him or something like. So she's not like, she doesn't, not forgive anyone, but, in that case, definitely not. But Like, we learned more about it in that arc as well. What really is, like, kind of going on. Kind of gives a bit more context. But she's definitely, you know, hates the Houjous there. Rika-san and the others became furious and refused to listen to me. Yeah, I think I read that. I also mentioned that the dam construction plan will be cancelled soon, so they should calm down already. I said that because the staff of the area clinic told me that the government is putting some kind of pressure on the Ministry of Construction, thinking that I'm being an opportunist. Soon criticism of me began to circulate the room. Yeah, that's an interesting point, really, isn't it? You think about it, their dam protests and all that, yeah, it caused quite the stir and all that. But it wasn't really like, I don't think it, yeah, I think it was unrelated to how the whole thing got resolved in the end anyway. So, really, he's right there. Just like, yeah, the area clinic said they're gonna sort it out, the government and all that. And that's exactly what was going on in the background, but they're just like looking at me, it's like, you just don't want to freaking put in any effort, do you? After that, I realized that I had become branded as a fence-sitter. If the demons are willing to listen, then there's a chance to make peace. But now, how can I make peace with people who refuse to listen? I destroyed their mood, so I just have to give up and shut my mouth. Then I felt a little hand on my back. Rika, it's getting late. Why don't you go home? No matter how hard we try, we can't reach them. It's like, it'll take a few years, but someone will be able to reach them. Rika looked into the distance while she spoke. The evil of this corrupted village is probably beyond the means of those of us living in that muck. But I won't lose hope. Surely someone who will destroy this stagnation will arrive. Very soon, I know. Her eyes shone as if shining and seeing a feature that only the maiden of the Three-Day Shrine could see. You gotta give credit to Keiichi, though. When he comes to the village, he's like the one that changes all kinds of things with his his resolve, I guess, maybe. He's like he's the outsider, more or less, so, you know. He's not all entwined with all this, you know, tradition and shit, so he's able to, like, stand up to it all, I guess. But, you know, from all that, it definitely kind of see, like, Rika's relationship with her parents. She definitely was on better terms with her dad than her mother. We haven't really seen much of her mother here, but so far, but you definitely see that relationship probably was a bit more strained compared. So, now what? What do we do? Still haven't got the, I don't think we got a red capsule yet, right? So we can't get, Brenna into the scenes yet. And, Rika's parents are still alive, so that's a no-go. I'm gonna assume all of this is pretty much just going to be, like, very late on in the story here. We obviously can't get these ones because they're not highlighted. I haven't got that. I don't think it was C1 something, but it wasn't 117. So I don't think we got that yet. Also, the C1 cried the Shirakawa Park incident. Oh wait, that's right there. I overlooked it. Okay, so that'll unlock that. So let's go with this one.